Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to rebroadcast one of my podcasts from last year about setting up your classroom. And I did a series of 3, and this one I picked, this is second in the series, but I think it's very pertinent for you guys as you set up your classroom for the new year, getting those expectations up, your schedule, your organization. All of these things help set the tone for your students, for your class, how you want them to feel when they come in, how you greet them at the door, all of these things, getting your class up so that your students feel welcomed and cared for. And so they're ready to have that positive behavior because you're already setting that tone in your room. So that is what you're going to hear today. Also, I'm still looking for 5 people to be part of the test group for Behavior Pro, my course that I am creating to help educators be better equipped to handle behaviors that come up in their classroom. And that would be awesome if I could get 5 more people. You can DM me, yes, anywhere on any of the social platforms. I would love to hear from you, connect with you so that you can give me your feedback on how I can improve or change, tweak, however, to make this the best that it can be to help you guys continue to succeed with your students and setting them up for success. So DM me yes if you are interested in being a part of that test group. I certainly would appreciate it. And so today, again, hit that subscribe button, share this podcast with other educators that you know, and we will continue to do our best to help your students succeed in every area of their life as they get their behaviors under control. All right, guys, listen in. Welcome to Behavior Strategies for Class. I am Diane Bachman, your behavior paraprofessional with over 15 years of experience working in special education. And I'm so glad you're here because I'll be teaching you about social-emotional learning, behavior strategies, trauma-informed care, and more. So if you are tired of being frustrated and not knowing what to do with your students who have challenging and disruptive behavior, you're in the right place. Now, if you're ready to become more equipped to help your students learn and grow, let's listen in to today's episode. A lot of successes with making sure you have behavior expectations posted in your classroom. Sometimes there's still a lot of frustration. They're not actually looking at the board when they're feeling frustrated or upset, but being able to point to it and let them know, buddy, what's going on? This is where you need to be. It's been great, I think, to see that. Sometimes that's posted also having a charter for your class. I know some schools do a school charter for an overall, and then some schools do a classroom charter. And that's more for the emotional intelligence, like how do you want your students to feel? But to avoid some frustrations with your students and their behavior, having those posted clear expectations will help set them up for success, and it helps for them to advocate for themselves. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but to say that I have seen this be very successful in classrooms, having that posted, again, expectation in your classroom really helps to set your student up for success. And so that is number 1 in the ways that you can encourage positive behaviors. So they know what is expected of them. You're going to speak kindly. You're going to take turns. You're not going to be rude and shout out above your peer or above you as the teacher. You're not going to stand up and scream or yell or cuss at anybody or flip anybody off, or like, how do you want to be treated? How are your behaviors going to be? What is expected of them? That they will take turns, that they will line up quietly, that they will keep their hands to themselves, that they will use kind words. What is it you want for your students in your classroom? How do you want them to behave? So it's being proactive in showing them what is expected. So another way to set up for positive behaviors, number 2, would be giving transition time. That will help save you also from some frustrations with you and your students. So giving them that transition time. So say you're working on writing and in like 10 minutes, it's lunchtime. So letting them know, guys, we have 10 more minutes to finish writing. Then you're going to need to grab your lunchbox if you brought it and line up at the door. Then you can also say, okay, guys, we're down to 5 more minutes. Do your best, finish up your writing, make sure you put stuff away and, get your lunch. And then again, you can say, okay, it's 2 minutes. So you need to be done because you have to put all of your things away. You have to go grab your lunch and go line up. Just giving all that transition prep time really helps to ease the frustration. Now, sometimes I've worked with students, they're still frustrated because they still didn't finish that assignment. But it's helping them learn, like, not everybody did. It's okay. Put your pencil down and we will come back to it whenever it is in your schedule that you guys come back to it. But I know for the most part, teachers will come back to it, if not right after lunch, at the end of the day. They can finish up on whatever unfinished work they have. But giving that transition time instead of like, it's right at time to go to lunch and you're, telling them, we got to go, like, hurry up, put your stuff down, grab your lunch. It just makes a lot more calmer transition for you and also for them. They know what's expected, where they need to be, where their stuff is, what they need to get, and lining up quietly, and now you're ready to go. Granted, there's still going to be some, kind of running around wanting to finish and blah, 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 but you have given them the ample time to know what's expected, what's coming next. And even if that's like transitioning, even just in subjects in your class. Okay, we're finishing up with math. Put your math notebook away. Now, in 5 minutes, we're going to, switch to reading. Just giving them a transition time helps your students to process what's next, what's expected of me, what's coming up. It really helps in cutting down some of the frustrations that you'll have. Also, number 3 in encouraging positive behaviors is you can have color cards. Now, I have seen some teachers use this where they laminate a card and on one side it's red, on the other side it's green. And some of the teachers, like, they give it to the whole class. And granted, not your whole class is going to have struggles with behavior. You're going to know, maybe it's a handful, maybe it's only a couple that have a hard time controlling their behaviors. And especially when they get angry and when they get upset. They can pick up that card and show you, like, I am really on the red right now. And if you're able to walk over, what do you need? How can I help you? Whether that's you taking the time, able to do that at that point, or if you're able to call maybe the school counselor, the AP. And if you're blessed enough to have a behavior team, you could call the behavior team. Maybe he needs just a quick break, just step away from everybody. Maybe it's just stepping over by the door and standing by the door for a couple minutes, just taking a breather. Whatever it is, that kind of helps you, again, in knowing, like, okay, he's upset, he's mad, he's angry, and he's just picked up the red card. So that's, a cue for you, if you're able to go and connect with him, or maybe another adult in the room, to go connect with him and help him before there's any big explosions in the classroom. And this also gives that voice to them, so they are advocating for themselves and being able to address and know, Yeah, I'm really ticked off right now. Yeah, you're right. Can I just go to the bathroom? Or can I take a quick break or whatever it is in your school? Helping them be able to advocate for themselves and knowing when they're frustrated. And definitely, this is a growth that some of your students will need to be able to grab that card and say, hey, having a problem here, will really help as you get to know your students. And it also is, part of your emotional intelligence and them knowing how are they feeling at this time and what can they do to bring them back to green so that they are ready to learn. And I know some of our schools use the ruler where you have the quadrant of different colors and feelings from red, yellow, blue, and green. I mean, you could use that card as well, but mostly it's the red that you want to be concerned about because that's usually when there is physical behavior. And whether that's sometimes actually just verbal, sometimes it can be acting out to anybody around them, sometimes it's stuff, they're throwing things, they're going to dump over their desk, their chair, whatever. The red really is where you need to be alerted and aware of and being able to jump in and be reactive and ready to go on how to help that student get back to learning and being their best. So again, 3 ways that you can help encourage your students to have positive behaviors in your classroom is number 1, post those clear behavior expectations. How do you want them to behave in your class? Number 2, give that transition time. It will cut down on behaviors and frustrations to have that transition time. Number 3, using color cards. The red and the green, I think, are sufficient, but obviously if you want to use other colors, but knowing that red is where you need to be aware of and be ready to react and help that student. So those are 3 ways that you can set up your students to have positive behavior in your classroom. And the quote today is, "Students who are loved at home come to school to learn, and students who aren't come to school to be loved." Now, I know all of your students will love to be loved by you. And as you set up your class for success in your organization and your greetings and having clear expectations, your students will feel loved. And that's all of them. And sorry, I forgot to give credit. That quote is from Nicholas A. Ferroni. I want to make sure he gets credit. But again, setting your classroom up for success will help your students be the best that they can be in learning and growing. And you are going to do awesome. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much for listening. I truly appreciate your support. And if I have encouraged you, motivated you to continue to learn, to support your students, even better, to help them strive in your classroom, please leave a review, hit that subscribe button so that others can see they can learn and grow here as well. Thank you.